I'm good with whatever you guys decide.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Whatever you guys decide, if we want to wait a few minutes. I don't know what's been happening in the other sessions. It sounds like a lot of people are job seeking right now. So they want to make sure that they're signed up for something that they can apply to, which is
Yeah,
great.
so the plan normally was like, like this, like we were gonna keep like time box, start when the session starts and like time box it, but I'm just kind of waiting for some more people. If you wanna, like, it depends. If you wanna start right now, we can start right now. If you wanna wait like 5 more minutes, give or take, we can do that to make sure we have a good number in the room.
There's Lauren. I know Lauren. So,
Hey, Mike.
how you doing, Lauren? She's already
Yeah.
seen this presentation because she was at the International Agile, but it's all
Oh
good, right?
yeah, I'm here to support.
Ah, that's awesome. Great seeing you.
You too.
Okay, can you actually turn the recording off and we can start when the presentation starts?
What do I turn on?
No, I'm asking. This is for Kay.
Actually, it's Rick, and then I believe we
Okay,
can
that's
just
fine.
edit that
No worries. Okay,
after.
cool. So I'm thinking, let me 11:45. Wait 2 more minutes, and then we kick it off.
Yeah, and then we go. That's perfect
Beautiful.
because otherwise I have a lot of material to cover in a short time, but it's all good. They can score it later, they can work on it later, do whatever it takes, and maybe people are out to lunch, who knows?
Yeah, I had a lot of coffee today, so the lunch is still pending for me.
I had a lot of coffee as well. So I'm right there with you. Thanks for all, and thank you, Kay, for setting all this up.
Of course, yeah.
Seems like there's a lot of people who really need job.
Yeah, there's quite a
And very
few.
tough market, so I can
Yeah, there's
say.
quite a few. So I think this is a great service that's going on because quite a few from what I've talked to over the last couple of months. So it's good.
Yeah, I agree.
I see the compass in there, which is great in the chat.
Give 1 more minute.
Welcome, Leah. Welcome, Gina.
All right, so it's 11:45. Let's get started, shall we, Mike?
Yes,
Okay,
that sounds
so
perfect.
hello all. Good morning. It's my pleasure to welcome Mike Kublin. He's the founder and president of People Tech. So, Mike, floor is yours.
Thank you so much. And welcome everyone to your career and the power of effective business relationships. And I want to say this is so important because if it wasn't for effective business relationships, I probably wouldn't be here right now because number one, I met Rick Ruggiero many years ago. And we were both speaking at the same conference and we became very good friends and we've been friends ever since. And he participates in all of my activities and I participated in his activities. So thank you so much, Rick, for having me speak today. And so proud to be part of this group. What we're going to talk about today, in my mind, is the most powerful skill that's needed in terms of a person's career, and that's effective relationships. And effective relationships transcend every single thing that you're ever going to do from the time you enter business and even before till the time you leave business and even after. But during your career, most of the work that I've received and done in people tech over close to 30 years has all been based on effective business relationships. And I'm very proud of our team because our team not only believes that, they practice that on a day-to-day basis. So I appreciate your energy, your effort, and emotion to listen to this next 5 hours. I'm kidding. We only have about 40 minutes, but Kay got scared. We're not scared. Yeah. So we have about 40 minutes or so to work through a compass, which has 12 areas of specialty to have the best, most effective business relationships. And those business relationships start with you. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that, it's an inside amount of work before it becomes an outside amount of work. So we have to work on ourselves so that we can have the career that aligns to our special skills, abilities, and talents. And in people tech, we call that magic dust. And do we even know what our magic dust is? And during our career, when we can align our magic dust with our vision, mission, and goals, which is the role that we play, then we have true authenticity, true joy, true passion. We're doing the thing that we eat, sleep, and drink on a daily basis. And it's really, really magical in our career. So you have the compass. Kate and Baral have shared the compass. It's in the chat. And if you get a chance, or when you get a chance, you open the compass. There's 12 different areas to measure. And we'll be using that as a guide. And anyone after this program can feel free to reach out to me, and I'll answer any questions that might be specific to what your situation is and how you measure. But what we want to do during the session is learn how these effective business relationships are the key to a successful career. How are they? And how does that all start with ourselves, with us? We want to obtain a baseline measurement. So on the compass that you're getting, on one side are the 12 areas of really what we're looking into in each area to determine, are we effective in those areas? And then we have a scoring guide on the back. So this is a self-scoring guide. Nobody's going to collect it. Nobody's going to look at it. So the more realistic you are with yourself, the better that is, because we really want to be on target with where we are and where ultimately we want to be in those areas. And sometimes it's difficult to see ourselves. So maybe ask a peer, a friend, a partner, a leader, a boss. Ask somebody to look at it for you or with you and say, where do they think you're at? Because that gives you a different perspective. We want to know that all effective business relationships start with you. It's a personal accountability situation where we have to take ownership and accountability, just like going to a gym. We don't go to a gym once a month or once a year. We don't call it the program of the month. Developing effective relationships, starting with ourselves first, is an inside job and an outside job, and we can do both at the same time. However, we have to build those muscles. And those muscles don't get built by not practicing them over and over and over. Well, how do we practice those muscles? Well, there's assessments and different things that I'm going to talk about in this session today that you can apply immediately in your life, in your career, in the role, whether you're in a role now, looking for a role, going to be looking for a role. You can begin to build those muscles over time and never stop. If you look at the compass when you get it from the chat, true north is continual leadership learning. That's true north on the compass, which means that this is forever. It's forever in our lives to be building these muscles, just like you would go to a physical gym to build your physical muscles. You don't go, again, every quarter. You go every day or every other day or every third day, but you look at it as a process, not an event. We're going to identify some tools and processes that increase your career success. I'm going to give you a book right now. The whole program today is built on the concept of personal accountability and ownership. And there's a great book by a man named John Miller. It's called the QBQ, the question behind the question. Anyone that doesn't have that, I encourage you to get it, because John does a great job in asking yourselves the right questions. What can I do and how can I do it? Not who's to blame and why is this happening to me, but what can I do and how can I do it? And that's a foundational piece to every one of the 12 areas of the leadership compass. So I encourage you to maybe look into that. It costs about $12, $10. I've seen them on Amazon as low as $6. So you can get the QBQ, the question behind the question, by John Miller. And then we want to implement one change today. You know, like I said, we have you for 5 hours. No, we only have 40 minutes and probably about 35 are left now. So we want to implement one change we've heard after today. And that change could be implemented immediately. Maybe you're going to get the QBQ. That's the change you're going to do. I'm going to get the QBQ, read it. It's a real quick read. You can read it in about 20 minutes to a half hour. It goes very fast. Or maybe it's something else I'm going to talk about in the next few minutes. And it doesn't matter what it is. It's what you select. And if we read Atomic Habits by James Clear, if you do 1% improvement every single day towards your goal, one habit every single day, 1%, you're going to far surpass your career goals. They're going to skyrocket by. So without further ado, we're going to take and start. Here we go. There's 7 items that impede obtaining your dream job. Unsure of what career is truly desired. And I always say, have a vision, mission, and goals. Why? Because that's your dream. That's your aspiration. That's what you want to attain. So that's one of the points on the compass here. We're going to get into that, but write it down. What do I want to obtain and when? It's beautiful if it's linked to skills, abilities, and talents that you have that are so special. And I call that magic dust. At People Tech, we call that magic dust. And everyone's got magic dust on the planet. No one's better than anyone else, but we do have magic dust that might be better in certain things, but they're better than us in other things. We need to honor and respect and really praise everyone's magic dust and look at it that every person on this planet has it. Our job is to identify ours and help others identify theirs, so that could be a common thing that we all are sharing to help each other be the best that we can be. Bored in the wrong organization, the wrong career. If you've ever been in a career position that isn't using your magic dust or isn't aligned to your vision, mission, goals, you know for a fact it's not right. Something feels weird, but don't beat yourself up for it. Just use that as input. Use that as input to say, wait a second, I need to start building some muscles for myself in a certain area. That's why I say it's an inside job first. Unwilling to make sacrifices. A lot of people don't want to take risk. I understand it. I was had an opportunity to have Damon at the Goldman Sachs 10,000 small businesses, and he started For You by You. And before he started that, his parents said, do not do this. This would be a terrible thing for you. You're going to lose everything. And, you know, his parents did it out of love. And a lot of times people that are closest to us do things out of love because they want to protect us. However, that protection sometimes prevents us from living our dream. So you got to make some sacrifices. It might make some people unhappy. Some people may not like it, but to live your dream, you have to make these changes. Unclear on careers that really work and how to get ahead. Again, that ties to your magic dust and your vision, mission, goals. Inability to market oneself, stand out, and get noticed. Well, first thing to do is get your brand identified, because that's your magic dust. That brand of who you are, the special skills, abilities, and talents of what you're all about, you got to be able to talk about it. You got to be able to get out there, and you got to be proud of it. There's a lot of examples all over the place where people weren't confident about who they are. And I go through that myself. Oh my gosh, you know, maybe they won't like me. We got to get over that. Okay. Those feelings of shame, the feelings of things that hold us back, just feel that feeling and move forward. Just keep going. And the belief starts with you first, and then it goes out. Okay. It goes in you first, because if you don't believe it, and quite frankly, you don't have to 100%, but you start to 100%. Okay. That's when things really take off, when you 100% believe in yourself. And then hesitant to express career wants, needs, and desires. You want to hold back because you don't feel you deserve it. there's a lot of folks, a lot of times, oh my God, I don't deserve that success. I go through that myself. Okay. We're all human beings, and sometimes we don't feel we deserve good things, but we do. We deserve the world. Every single person, not only on this call, but in the planet, deserves the world. The issue is we have to give ourselves the world. Okay. And that means treating ourselves with the dignity, respect, and honor and love that we all on the planet have a need for, and have actually, we owe it to ourselves. Stuck in a comfort zone, and again, we've already kind of talked about this, kind of don't want to take a risk because you have families, we have other things. I totally get it. However, we also have limited time here. Every minute that we have is a precious minute. So the sooner we link our vision, mission, goals with our magic dust, 2 points on the compass, and you'll see them on there. And if anybody ever has questions before, during, after, in 2 years, whenever you have a question, you could reach out with an email, and we'll talk. Okay, this came from Michael Lombardo and Robert Eichlinger in terms of where did we get those from. I want to show this picture. This is a picture of my father in the center there. His name is Big Al. And Big Al, and that's my family. That's his wife, my stepmom, and it's my the rest of my family, my son and Jean, my dad's aide, and my nephew and myself. And the beautiful thing was, this was probably about 6 months before my dad's 90th birthday. And before on his 90th at his party, I shared a story that I got from this day. And the question I asked my dad is, how do you remain so positive all the time? My father was in a terrible car accident where he lost an arm and lost a leg and became paralyzed from C3 down. And that happened about 25 years ago. He was deceased about a year and a half ago, but he lost that arm, lost that leg in a terrible car accident in Miami. And he was put into an electronic wheelchair. And Jean and my stepmom, my mom, Phyllis, took care of him, 24/7. But my father remained so positive. And I said to him multiple times, but particularly this time, how do you do it? And he said, Mike, I made a decision. I said, what do you mean you made a decision? Is that a spiritual concept? He goes, no, I decided. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I made a decision in my mind that nothing ever was going to take away my happiness, my passion for life, and my joy. Okay. And I wasn't going to take it away from anybody else either. So that decision, I didn't really know what that meant right away, but I started to really look at it, and it's so important. All of you that are here today made a decision to be here, and I congratulate you for that. You made a decision to look at this compass. It'll be a decision to rate yourself. It'll be a decision on how much you want to investigate in order to improve, to learn, grow, and transform your skills. And that decision-making skill that we have is so powerful. And once we make it and start building those muscles, just like James Clear said in Atomic Habits, that's another book I recommend, Atomic Habits, do 1% every day, and you will transform your life and transform your career. One thing that gets in our way of successful business relationships, and this is in all roles, whether you're in a role, looking for a role, is we think we're better than someone else. That in and of itself puts us at a disadvantage, because ultimately we might be better at a task than others, and we have to believe in ourselves, but they're better than us in other tasks. So we have to honor each and every person. We think we know more. And we think we know more than everyone else, and that's not the case. We learn, and as a matter of fact, if we were able to do a lot of talk today, I would be learning so much from everybody on the phone here, so on the Zoom call. Because why? Because you have the stories that you're going through, and that knowledge and that experience and that past, wherever you've been in your life, in any role you've had, in any career responsibility that you've been part of, has a story to it. And those stories are what we learn from most. We don't listen to other perspectives. We only hear our own. And it's so important to listen to the perspectives of others. I'm reading another good book. You could write it down if you just implemented this alone. How to Listen with Intention by Patrick King. Fabulously powerful book. One of the coaches recommended it to one of the leaders that we're coaching. And I started to read it myself, and I'm learning so many things. It's absolutely fantastic. We think others are not important. Every person on the planet in their magic dust and in their career is crucial to us. Okay. Their success and our success is all crucial. Everyone can have a win. Every single person on the planet can have a win. It's up to us to help them identify their magic dust, help them live their vision, their mission, their goals, and their measures, and help all of us give feedback and have accountability to moving forward in a successful way. We think they are the problem. Well, no, that's where the QBQ comes in. What can we do, and how can we do it in order to help ourselves in our careers? So if we take those actions and look at this from an accountability and that we're building muscles, it's a journey. It's not an event. It goes over time. And I know I tout my leadership journey because it's a 6-month process, but it's really a whole life process. Anybody that's ever seen the Johari window, Joseph Luft and Harry Ingram, 2 people got together and decided there's a way that we can look at ourselves and we can look at others and get to know ourselves from the perspective of ourselves and the perspective of what others see of us. And up on the top part of this Johari window, we have self-knowledge, and on the side, we have others' knowledge. And so the intersections of these, Joseph Luft and Harry Ingram did a great job, these psychologists, piecing this together. They have known to self and not known to self along the top. And along the side, we have known to others and not known to others. And effective leaders, and everyone on this call is a leader, every single person, no one left out. And the issue is how much are we willing to be in the open quadrant? Okay. You see, that's info that's known to you and you're willing to share it. And it's based on a level of trust. And if you look at the bottom of this chart, there's a trust bar. And some people approach trust, I trust all the time. And some people approach trust, I trust none of the time. And we're as different as night and day for every point on the chart and every point in terms of who the person is and what the information is. So the issue is, how do we as leaders, and everyone here is a leader, get comfortable enough to increase the open self, share what's going on with us, share the good, the bad, and the ugly. When you're in shame, when you're feeling good, you're feeling guilty, when you're feeling joyful, peaceful, every single feeling on the planet, it's important to know what that is. And every thought that you're having, it's important to know what that is, so that you can start to look at what is your belief system, what are your value system, and start to look at what kind of career is really going to align to you most. And that's the open self. And if we're hiding that, how are we going to have a career that skyrockets? And so we really want to explore that open self, and I'm going to give you a couple of ways to do that. We also know that effective leaders reduce the hidden self. They increase the information that's known about the self so that others will know about it. So it's not known to others currently, but you're going to share it with safe individuals. So you want to find safe individuals. Some people find a coach to be very, very safe. And I know there's coaches on the call. Lauren, great coach. And the issue is how well are we going to look at different bits of information and share those first in a safe and honoring way. But as you get more and more comfortable, it's okay to become more and more vulnerable. The more comfortable you are with yourself, it almost doesn't matter what others know. There was a guy who graduated our leadership journey many, many, many moons ago. And he always said, well, it's good that they let me in on the secret. You know? And then I let them in because now they're helping me. So what's not known to self and what's known to self and not known to others, they call that the hidden self. And effective leaders, all of them on the planet, reduce the hidden self. They make the hidden self smaller. And we can do that by safe things like run a disc on yourself, okay? There's a free disc out there. You can Google it, DISC, if nobody has done that in the past. that gives us insights to our magic dust, but it also gives us insights to what happens when we overuse our magic dust. And when we overuse it, that means someone else is not using their magic dust. And it's so important for us to know what that is because of that situation. We want to honor someone else's. But if we're overusing ours, or if we don't know what ours is and we're overusing it, then it's preventing someone else. So we want to reduce our hidden self and share what's going on with us. So it helps everyone in that arena to learn more about our vision, mission, goals, and our magic dust. There's also information that's not known to self, the upper right-hand corner, and known to others. Others know it, but we don't know it. And I'm sure there's someone on this call, and I'll just share mine because we don't have a ton of time today. But back a long time ago, I got feedback, Mike, you're a visionary, you're motivating and you're inspiring, you're good with relationships. But I also got feedback that you're wishy-washy and you don't hold people accountable to anything. And so that kind of punched me hard. I was at the time had a lot of people reporting to me in a tech group. And I said, well, what do I do about it, to the head of HR? He goes, I don't know. They didn't know what to do back then. But what I ended up doing was finding a woman who specialized working. She had her PhD in leadership. She specialized working with doctors and nurses in hospitals. And I said, can you come in and help our tech unit with it? Can you help me? And she showed me using various tools, like some I'm going to share here, Myers-Briggs, DISC. Google those and start taking some assessments. There's some free ones, obviously, in our program. We charge for it, but there's free ones out there, and they will help you to learn about how to have a relationship with yourself. It will help you to learn your magic dust, but it will also help you to learn to what happens when you overuse it. What happens when it's getting in the way of others using it? And sometimes that could be our blind self. And the whole thing about effective leadership, and again, everyone on this call is a leader, is to reduce that blind self, make it smaller. And then there's the unknown self. They say this is where true creativity, true innovation, true career success, and true career joy lies, is in this unknown self. That's the study of thoughts, feelings, behaviors, actions, and totally living to your vision, mission, goals, and your magic dust, and being able to fruitfully live that in a day-to-day basis, helping yourself and others. So that's the Johari window. Anybody that has questions on it later, I'd be glad to answer. We're following the compass. The compass has 12 areas. And the 12 areas, like I said before, true north is continual leadership learning. It's forever. We're forever going to need to be looking at how do we show up. The issue is when we're more aligned to our magic dust and our vision and mission and goals, it's going to be much easier. Why? Because we're going to be more congruent with who we are as individuals, and every person on the planet has special skills, abilities, and talents. Again, it's up to us to identify our own, but also help others to identify theirs. And you will find there are a lot of people that will help you. If you ask people that you work with, what am I good at? They'll tell you right away the things that you're really great at. They won't hesitate. You could start making a list just by doing that. I give you an assignment now. Go out and ask everybody you work with, what is my strengths? And they will list many strengths. You'll be surprised. You'll be, wow, I didn't realize that. And it comes so naturally, so easy to us that sometimes we don't even know what it is because it comes so natural to us. It almost is like we're doing it on autopilot. At the same time, we could overuse it. And when we overuse it, my team now knows, they beat me on the head. Mike, you're being too easy. Mike, you're not holding people accountable. So they rein me in, and I allow them to do what their magic dust is, which is put boundaries around things, make things nice and neat. And no one runs a better team than Rick. I love what he's done, and his team is phenomenal. They all chip in to help and make everything magnify. Their magic dust is being used to the nth degree. And I'm so proud to be associated with it because you can see it. You can see it all come alive, and everybody is passionate about the role that they play. And they're all, it's just fun to be part of it. So I love seeing it in action. Awareness is the first stage of this compass, and you can see it at 1 o'clock. Okay. if awareness is what we talked about in the Johari window, those 4 areas, anybody has questions on that, please let me know. But again, run out and do it, a free disc, run out and do a Myers-Briggs. Obviously, if you want to go to the leadership journey, we give you 5 tools and all kinds of things like that with coaches. But at the end of the day, you can do some of this work starting today. Go out and do a Google on some of them. There are others, many others, assessments out there. And I know Lauren on the call here runs Positive Intelligence, and that's a phenomenally powerful tool as well that talks about your saboteurs and different things like that. Magic dust, I've talked about that enough, I think, at this point. If you do not know what yours is, please begin a quest today, a journey today to try to figure it out. Why? Because you're on a career hunt, you're looking for a role, you're maybe in a role already, and you know when it doesn't align to your magic dust. You also know that other people may be dissing it, and that doesn't feel good because they hired you for something else because you wanted the job so badly that you took whatever. And I've done that with assignments in people tech. Oh my God, we contort ourselves to get, no more. If they don't want people development, then they don't really need people tech. Okay. And so I start to ferret that out almost right away because that's what we do, people development. But for years and years, I worked with different folks. They said they believed in it, but really didn't believe in it. And so you really need to align yourself to where it is you're working and what you're doing. It doesn't mean anybody's a bad person if they don't want your magic dust, but it would be good to be open about it on both sides so that you link to a role that you're most congruent with. That's really where the true passion and true joy comes from. Again, vision, mission, goals, measures, equal behavior. This is a formula, and let me spend a little bit of time on it because this is really crucial to this process. There's symbols that help us to remember this process. And the first symbol is that of a telescope. A telescope is a dream or an aspiration. It's way, way, way out there. And if you've ever looked at a telescope, it's kind of shaky, right? It's not real clear and it's way, way out there, a point in space. Well, that's vision. That's your dream. That's your aspiration. And if you don't have one written down, write one down within the next 2 weeks or so. Start thinking about it. It can always be adjusted, but start to take notes and write that down. The mission is the binoculars. It helps to take that dream and make it more personable and really applicable to you. It's what we're going to do and how we're going to do it to carry out that dream. It makes it more real. The vision is yours. It's personal. It's almost impossible. And it's eternal. Why? Because it's way out there. And then that mission is how we're going to get there. It's our strategy that we're going to use to get there. If you don't have a vision and a mission, in the next month, please get one on paper. Just put something down. You can send it to me if you want somebody to look at it. I'd be glad to look at it. But get something down, put it on paper, get from what's in your mind and put your thoughts down. It really helps. The eyeglasses are goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound goals. We really want to have 2 or 3 or 4 goals that link to our mission and link to our vision. And if you look at it, eyeglasses, they make it even more specific to us. So it's 100% us. What we're going to do and how we're going to do it. It's the habits that we're going to carry out on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, and a yearly basis. And even if we do 1% a day, like James Clear says in Atomic Habits, you're going to skyrocket past your goals. And then we want to measure our success. So we want to make what is going to be looking at career success for me. And what I would measure is, am I in a role that matches my magic dust? And is it being honored for it? And am I getting rewarded for it the way I want to get rewarded for it? And does it link to my vision, my mission, and my goals? If those things are congruent, then you start to measure how are you living it on a day-to-day basis. And that's your behavior. So this whole formula, vision, mission, goals, and measures equal behavior, you could say anything you want on paper, but unless your behaviors link up to the formula, you're saying one thing and doing another. And as we know, we're all leaders on this call right here, and the most effective leaders on the planet link their behavior to what they say. It's congruent. There's no argument. What they're living is what they're doing. and they can talk about it. They're open about it, and they can tell you the barriers, they can tell you what gets in their way, they can tell you everything about it. So the issue is that B is crucial in this formula. There's a great book also. I'll give you a few books here that'll help with this formula. It's by a man named Jim Horan, Horan. And it's called the One-Page Business Plan. And there's some for entrepreneurs, for finance, for accounting, for all different kinds of roles. I highly recommend it. The One-Page Business Plan by Jim Horan, Horan. He doesn't go too much into the behavioral piece, but those are your values. What values are you willing to live by? What values do you need in order to make sure your vision, mission, goals, and measures are aligned? And so it's really crucial that we live to that. I'm going to come back to this, but if we look at the compass, and you all should have the compass because Kay and we're all shared it in the chat, and everybody should have the compass. And if you look at the compass, we've covered a big part of it. But then once the vision, mission, goals, and measures are clear, boy, you're going to be able to communicate your brand. You're going to be able to build the resume. You're going to be able to communicate on networks. You're going to be able to go to different events, and you're going to know who you are. And the more you know who you are, the clearer it is for everybody to know who you are, so that they can get a role, and you can get a role that you're so passionate about it, that you eat, sleep, and drink, that it aligns. It's not out of sync with who you are. I've been in many roles that I was out of sync, and that's not a bad thing. I would keep information because you're always using your magic dust. Sometimes it's just not appreciated as much. But so the other skills about overuse will never go to waste. The issue is you'll know when it's not aligned, and you'll feel it. And then it's good to talk about what it creates, the anxiety. But every bit of every role that you've ever had is information that you should capture. Was I in my vision, mission, goals? Was I in my magic dust? If not, why? What was missing? Okay. So any of you that are in careers, we're all in careers now, we have that information. The issue is, did we take notes, scopious notes in terms of going in? How did we feel? What were we thinking? What was going on? What was getting in the way? What are the barriers? What could I do, and how can I do it to build those muscles? We want to be clear with it, and that's where communication and clarity come in. We want to be aligned with who we are as much as we can be, so that we can be the best leaders that we can be in any role that we're in. You're already leaders. You want to be the best that you could be by practicing these different areas. We want to hold ourselves accountable to this. And like James Clear said, if you do 1% a day, you're going to skyrocket past any goal that you have written down for your career. I can guarantee it. Conflict. This is very important. Let me skip over to conflict for a second, because everybody gets tense around this. But without conflict, there is no leadership. So if you're having career conflict, it's almost like a good thing, because you're empowering yourself to go where you've never gone before. Just by attending this, there was probably a conflict. Do I go? What do I do? Okay, yes, you empower yourself to go to these things, and then suddenly your career for yourself starts to take off. You got to go through it because it feels uncomfortable. That uncomfort is the conflict I'm talking about. And if you give and receive feedback, you got to start giving and receiving feedback to yourself. What's working in your career? What's not working? What worked in the previous roles? What didn't work? That conflict that you're having with yourself, that's a beautiful thing to talk about, to look at and to analyze. So conflict is a positive thing. We always look at it, oh my God, it's negative, it's this, that. Again, it's how you do it. Do you do it in a healthy, honoring, and respectful way? And do you do that starting with yourself? If it's healthy, honoring, and respectful, starting with you first, then it's going to be healthy, honoring, and respectful to the world. So I want to go back because
Hey, Mike, so I just want to let you know time's actually up for the session now. But I know, great session, right? So I want to say, Mike, thank you so much for your presentation. I've learned a lot. You suggested us a lot of great books, so really happy to read more about, I think, your the QBQ. You got recommended us a DISC and the Miles Business Assessment. So really
you got them all.
that.
That's what I was going to show here. This is a DISC. So go out there, do your free DISC. We really finished almost everything. You can look at, are they going to get these slides?
If you want to link them, we can provide them after.
Yeah,
I think
send everybody these slides. Here's a list of things that you can do. It ends with get yourself a coach. There are actually coaches on here that are great. So you got coaches, and then review. There's another list of things to do. And I always, what are the first steps you're committing to? I hope you got one thing out of what we talked about today that you're going to implement today.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
excellent.
thank you enough for all, and thank you, Kay. Both of you guys have been so helpful. And
And once
thanks
again,
everyone for
thank you,
attending.
Mike, for your presentation, and thank you all for coming to the session. I believe the next session starts